Andres Galarraga and the Braves. Sammy Sosa and the Cubs. Game 1 next. Sammy Sosa. He set the baseball world afire with Mark McGwire. 66 home runs. But now, heading into October baseball, he starts from zero just like everybody else. And facing a longtime nemesis today, John Smoltz, who will get the nod for the Atlanta Braves. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller. Joe Morgan is at the Yankee game tonight. So with me is Joe Carter, great 396 home run man. And right now, after his pop-out Monday night in Chicago, the second most popular player in Chicago. So, Joe, I thought you'd hit the home run, and we'd see you playing here today, but instead you hit the pop-up, so welcome aboard.
John, that was a great welcome. Only you can do that, but, you know, can't say I'm really happy to be here because I would have loved to have been out there playing and maybe let Sammy Sosa come up here and do this for one chance.
Yeah, well, next time think about that before you pop up. Okay. All right. Now, Sosa is in the ball game, and he's had an incredible year. But if you're going to stop the Cubs, you start with stopping Sammy, and John Smoltz has always stopped him. Sammy's only 3 for 33 lifetime against Sammy.
Well, the one thing Sammy has to do is forget about the past. He's 3 for 37, but in his sense, he says, I'm due. So maybe this could be the day that Sammy breaks out. We'll see if he's a little patient. If he's patient, makes Smoltz come to him, he could have a great game.
All right. So Sammy and the Cubs going against John Smoltz. Mark Clark goes for Chicago. They had to go right up to that last day with a playoff. Their pitching staff was in tatters at the end, and Clark was only 9 and 14 for the year, so it looks like a mismatch on paper, Joe.
Well, it does on paper, but in the baseball game, especially a playoff, anything can happen because you have nerves. And what Clark he has to do, he has to keep the ball in the ballpark. If he can get his split finger down, keep the big guys, Galarraga, Klesko, Chipper Jones from going to the ballpark, he could be around come the 6th, 7th inning.
All right. So we'll see. It gets underway now for the Cubs. Are they the team of destiny or the mighty Braves? Will they shut down Sosa, as they've done so many other great stars in the past? Cubs fans are here to watch Slammin' Sammy try and keep the great year going. But John Smoltz out there for Atlanta. Game 1 coming up. ESPN's coverage of the National League Division Series is brought to you by First Plus Financial. At First Plus, you don't need equity, you just need a home. Turner Field, Atlanta. Game 1 of this National League Division Series. The Cubs and the Braves. And the Cubs had to survive a tremendous stretch run by the San Francisco Giants to make it here. But here they are. Jim Riggleman, his second year as the manager, led them to 90 wins, including their playoff victory over the Giants on Monday night. And the Cubs, who, of course, had to sort of limp along the last month of the season without the man who had really been their most exciting pitcher, Kerry Wood. Here's the Pepsi Cubs batting order. Kerry Wood is on this postseason roster. Lance Johnson, left field, leads off, rather in center field leading off. Mickey Morandini, second base. Then Sammy Sosa hits third. Mark Grace, the cleanup hitter. As you see, Sosa has never done well against Smoltz. Grace at first. Henry Rodriguez, 31 homers in left. Gary Gaetti, a hero on Monday at third. Tyler Houston, the catcher. Jose Hernandez at short. He had 23 homers, and Mark Clark, the pitcher. On the mound for the Atlanta Braves, right-hander John Smoltz, 17 and 3 this year. So a lot of guys did not do well against John Smoltz, not just Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys too, John. But you know, Smoltz, he's gone out there. He's a tremendous postseason pitcher. What he's tied with 10 wins with Dave Stewart. So we're looking for a great game here, and he's primed and ready to go.
First pitch is high for ball 1. He's had elbow problems. He had arthroscopic surgery on his right elbow last December. Did not actually make his first start of the year until mid-May, coming back from the disabled list. And he is behind now, 2-0 to Lance Johnson. He had a second trip to the disabled list in late May. And 3-0. He actually had a start here against the Cubs May the 23rd against Kerry Wood. And he worked only 2 innings before having to leave the game with his elbow in real bad shape. He went back on the disabled list until June 20th. But when he came off that time, he got on a roll, and it never ended.
Well, it never did. I mean, he's been probably the most dominant pitcher the second half of the season. And what he brings to this ball club, you know, you have 4 guys or 5 guys with over 15, 17 wins. I mean, he's a horse out there.
That's into left center field. Klesko on the run. Makes the catch. It almost sailed over his head.
It looked like he got a kind of a bad jump. He went at the angle the wrong way, but he was able to make up for it. And one thing that Klesko, he doesn't get much rate for his glove, but he made a pretty good play right there.
So there's one gone, and now Mickey Morandini up. Morandini had an outstanding year for the Cubs, the former Philly. And of course, he faced your Blue Jays in the 1993 World Series. So he's been through this before.
Yes, you know, the one thing you have to worry about in postseason play is all the pressure. And there's a lot of pressure out here because now all these games mean something. Everything you do is going to be scrutinized.
That was ball one. Close pitch there. Change up down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Winters is the home plate umpire, part of a 6-man crew. And Smoltz is behind again. 2 balls and a strike. The umpiring alignment: Bill Hahn at first, Jerry Lane at second, Randy Marsh at third, Frank Pulley along the left field line, Wally Bell along the right field line. It's foul on the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smoltz said he changed a little something. It's Eddie Perez, Greg Maddox, regular catcher. Let that one go right by him. Smoltz shelved the split-fingered fastball, which he'd always used, in favor of a changeup, which he said the last month of the season he really got comfortable with. He says it's now a weapon.
You know what? Sometimes it seems like the split finger puts a lot of pressure on the elbow, and you see a lot of those guys come up with those problems.
Out number 2 is Morandini hits the fly ball to Tucker. So 2 men are gone, and that will bring up Sammy Sosa. We'll see how he's welcomed here, because he got an ovation everywhere he went in the regular season, and it's no different today, even in the playoffs. The Atlanta fans on their feet saluting one of the greatest seasons of all time, Sammy Sosa, who is very likely to be the MVP in the National League.
What more can you say? It'd be surprising to see what they do if he goes deep. Will they applaud him or will they boo him?
Sammy Sosa, 66 homers, 158 runs batted in. Strike over the outside.
Just an unbelievable season. Unbelievable.
McGuire had 70, but not as many RBIs. Sosa hit over 300. That's a foul out of play. Back toward the upper deck, and it is 0-2. Sosa ahead, or behind, John Smoltz. Sosa had 2 big hits, both singles, in the ballgame Monday night against the Giants, but each involved in a Cubs rally. To the inside, just missing there.
You see, he went away with the first 2 pitches. He comes in with the fastball inside and just did miss.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Mark Grace would be next. 2 down, nobody on. Down the left field line, and it's in front of Klesko. And he might have broken his bat on that one. He got jammed, but got pretty good wood on it nonetheless.
Well, Sammy's, you know, he's swinging the bat well right now. He's relaxed. You know, he went up there. He took the first 2 pitches for strikes. Mostly went away, but he came in. The last two at bats, he came in. Last 2 pitches, Sammy fights it off. He's very strong.
So Klesko, that one ended up maybe a little closer to Ryan than he thought it was going to.
You know, it can be deceiving, but the one thing, you don't want to make too many mistakes early in the game. And you know, it's 2 outs. Why try to give him something if he's not there?
So he erred on the side of caution. There's that changeup we're talking about from John Smoltz. He says he'll throw it 25 to 30 times in a game now. He used to say it was just for show, but now he says it's really a weapon.
Well, if you can keep the guys off balance, especially when you throw the ball 93, 94 miles an hour like he does.
Mark Grace, 309 during the regular season. Right over the outside edge, and it is 0-2. That's the other thing with Smoltz. He's a power pitcher, but he also has excellent control. He only walked 44 hitters in 168 innings during the regular season. 2 strikes to count. Sosa back to the bag at first. Sammy not doing as much running now as he once did, but still, he had 18 stolen bases for the Cubs during the season to lead the club. And the changeup too low on the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mark Grace. Now, Grace has had some success against John Smoltz over the years. They faced many, many times. 21 hits and 63 at-bats, and a lot of home runs against him, especially when you consider Grace is not really a home run hitter.
Well, that's very surprising.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Rodriguez would be next. And Sosa to the bag at first. There's a couple of guys who had great years alongside each other. Galarraga had 44 home runs for Atlanta. The big cat will be a cleanup for Atlanta. Sosa is running. Lopez throws. He's out. The tag by Lockhart, and the inning is over. And Grace will try it again in the 2nd inning. And now Mark Clark will head out to the mound for the Cubs as Atlanta gets ready to bat. Weiss, Lockhart, and Chipper Jones coming up. No score.
John?
We're in Atlanta. No score in the last of the 1st inning.
Can you get the next minus out of my ear?
Bobby Cox. He's been here many, many times before. And here's his lineup, the Pepsi Atlanta batting order. It'll be Walt Weiss leading it off at shortstop. Keith Lockhart at 2nd. Chipper Jones at 3rd. And he has done extremely well, as has Galarraga and Klesko. Klesko in left. Lopez the catcher. Andrew Jones in center. Tucker in right. Smoltz the pitcher. And on the mound for the Cubs, right-hander Mark Clark. And he is underway now with strike 1 called to Weiss. Weiss had a quadricep muscle injury that limited his use in September. That's right to Grace. And we really have 2 of the outstanding defensive first basemen in the league here, with Grace and the big cat Galarraga.
Well, we know about Mark Grace being a Gold Glove first baseman over there, but a lot of times what Galarraga does goes unnoticed. But he's a great fielder over there, not only with the bat, but he can do it with the glove.
So Weiss lines out to first. There is 1 away, and here is Keith Lockhart. Lockhart had a hamstring injury. That's a base hit. He says he's 100% now, and the Braves have certainly been a much better ball club when they've had both Lockhart and Weiss in there together. They've only started simultaneously 58 times this year, but the Braves were 42-16 in the games they started. Mark Clark, his numbers are very poor and not anywhere near what the Cubs were hoping to get from him this year, but he did come along on Saturday when they really needed it the most in Houston and pitched perhaps his best ball game of the year, which they won 3-2.
Well, that was the game they definitely needed. You know, for the Giants' sake and my sake, I wish they would have lost it, but they didn't. He came through in a big way.
Chipper Jones, and this is his strong side, batting left-handed. He's at .313 for the year, 34 homers and 107 runs batted in. No score in the game. 1 on, 1 out. And we're into the Braves power now. Chipper Jones has done well against Clark. As you saw, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Braves have all done well against him. Chipper is 7 for 17, a .412 lifetime average against him. Chipper had 34 homers, as we said, and 32 of them came against right-handed pitching. Had a change up there, and it's foul off to the left and out of play. See Galarraga, 4 homers and only 18 at-bats against Mark Clark. And Klesko also has done well with a home run and a .333 average. Galarraga is on deck. Once you get into this Braves power, you stay in it for a while. Chipper Jones, Galarraga, Klesko, Javi Lopez, and Andrew Jones. That's 5 guys in a row who can go deep at any moment. The Braves set a franchise record this year, 215 home runs. And meanwhile, McGuire and Sosa were setting the world afire on an individual basis. The Braves were also right there. They actually hit more home runs as a team than did the Cubs. Into left center. And in a little bit is Henry Rodriguez. Number 2. The Cubs, a veteran ball club. Many guys have been here before. Grace at first, a Gold Glove quality infielder. They felt like Mickey Morandini at second should win a Gold Glove this year. Gaetti and really helped this ball club both offensively and defensively after being acquired from the Cardinals. And they like that infield defense a lot. Jose Hernandez is quite a Gold Glove quality infielder as well. And of course Gaetti's won plenty of Gold Gloves. Jamming Galarraga, ended his 0-1.
Gaetti, he also came through with the bat late in the season. A big 2-run homer there in the wild card playoff game. A big 2-run double against Houston. So, you know, they're counting on him very much, and he's in a very favorable position right now with the Cubs.
Yeah, he's in the position where he's here in Atlanta. He could be home raking leaves already. 1 strike the count. And that's away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think he'd much rather be here playing.
Sorry, sweetheart, I won't be able to rake the leaves just yet.
The honey-do list has to wait.
44 homers for Galarraga. 121 runs batted in. Braves had 4 players hit 30 home runs or more. And Galarraga, when he was in Colorado, was on a team that did that. I mean, that's something that's very rarely been done in baseball history. 4 30 home run men in the same season. And Galarraga's the only guy who's been a part of it on 2 different ball clubs.
Well, there was some concern about him coming to Atlanta without the mile-high air.
Got jammed, pulled it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he quickly put those concerns to rest with a hot start here.
Yeah, you could definitely change that. I mean, 44 home runs. He didn't need the mile-high air. I mean, here's a guy who's 38 years old, and he's still producing like a young 25, 30-year-old ball player.
I mean, did it surprise you? Did you think he was going to suffer leaving Denver?
I thought he would, because Fred McGriff had said that the ball does not carry here as well as the old ballpark. So leaving Denver where the ball jumps, you know, I thought he may suffer a little bit. I was wrong.
Yeah, it turned out it was Denver who suffered. Struck him out as Galarraga swung at a pitch well up out of the strike zone. So Mark Clark sets him down in the 1st inning. No score. Mark Grace coming up with Henry Rodriguez and Gary Gaetti. No score in the game. Cubs nothing, Braves nothing. 2nd inning. Mark Grace leads it off. He was up there when Sammy Sosa was thrown out, trying to steal to end the 1st inning, and he takes a called strike. Well, Jim Riggleman having Sosa run in that spot, an aggressive move for a team that does not run a whole lot. And I know my other partner, Joe Morgan, often talks about a team that, especially against a great pitching staff, needs to try and force the issue a little bit, maybe try to do some things to open it up a little bit. So Riggleman perhaps echoing those sentiments.
Well, that is true, John. Anytime you can go out there and put the pressure on the opposition, and right now with the Cubs hitting first, they wanted to put some pressure on them, show them that they're going to run. So now maybe Atlanta has to think about something else that they weren't contemplating at first.
Mark Grace, 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Hit .309 this year for the Cubs. Into left field, Klesko drifting back now. That one carried out there pretty well. The wind is blowing in from right and across toward left. And I wonder, indicating the way Klesko went after that one, if maybe a ball to left field will get a little bit of a push.
Well, that is true. We seem to see a lot of balls being hit to Klesko, but you know, with those left-handed hitters, John likes to work the outside corners. The Braves are notorious for finding that outside corner, and he's living out there right now.
Now Henry Rodriguez, 31 home runs during the season. First ball swinging high in the air, shallow center. Lockhart and Weiss go out, but Andrew Jones still coming. He was right behind second base when he caught that one.
When the Cubs went into a downfall, it was when Henry was hurt. I mean, he was one of the guys that really protected Sammy and took a lot of pressure off Sosa. Now that he's back, he's going to give it. He's a big boost for the Cubs right now.
And Rodriguez had to go on the disabled list in late August, and he never homered from that time right up to the moment. There's strike 1 called to Gary Gaetti. 2 down, nobody on. Gaetti, that's another story. He helped fill some of that void when he came over from the Cardinals. In only 37 games as a Cub, he had 8 home runs. Ooh, just off the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. 40 years old, been through 2 World Series with the Minnesota Twins, 1987, 1991. I mean, you name it, it's happened in a ball game. Gaetti probably has seen it or done it. Been there, done that.
He's definitely been there. He's definitely done that. He brings a lot of experience to this ball club, and he's going to be needed in this crunch time because to settle the nerves of all the players in their first playoff game.
That's the sharp breaking ball from Smoltz. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, that's the pitch that put many a hitter away.
John has probably the best slider for a right-handed power pitcher there he is.
High in the air, first base side. Galarraga coming over. This one drifting back and in amongst the spectators. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Turner Field is not sold out today. It's a big crowd, but not a sellout crowd. And I think these Atlanta fans are jaded. The Braves have had so much success that it's hard for them to get excited about a mere divisional series, which they just assume the Braves will win without hardly breaking a sweat, apparently.
Well, 7 years in a row is something they've been accustomed to. They're looking for one thing, and they're waiting till that World Series comes around. But you got to win these games to get to the World Series.
2-2 to Gaetti. Came back with the hard stuff there. Gaetti fought it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on, no score. Well, the division series started 2 years ago, and the Braves swept the Dodgers. Last year, they swept Houston. They've not yet lost a game in this first round of playoffs. But last year, on the other hand, they did not quite make it to the World Series. The breaking ball is hit foul off to the right. So Gaetti battling it out here with Smoltz. Atlanta, 7 consecutive division titles. Going to the World Series 4 times, won the World Series once. I mean, imagine that. They've gone to the World Series 4 times in 7 years. The Cubs have not been to one World Series in 53 years. The fastball, and Gaetti fights that off as well. He's given him almost everything in the repertoire here.
Well, what the Cubs have done here, this is their first time for a lot of those guys in the playoffs. The Braves have been here. They're experienced. They expect to be here, and they know with that staff that they'll always be here.
2 former teammates there, Maddox and Grace, on opposite sides of the field. And there's the slider. That might have been. He's also developed a little slow curveball, he calls it. That might have been it. 3 up and 3 down. Klesko coming up. No score. All right, Bob, thank you. Here, no score. Last of the second inning. Mark Clark, who gave up 1 hit in the first, ready to work. Now, when he came off the field, there was a little question about his left knee. And the trainer, Dave Tumbas, was talking with him and also working a little bit on his left knee. This is what happened when he first came back into the dugout. So Clark, I'm not sure just how physically strong he is at this moment. They'll be keeping a close eye on him, and they are a little worried because Mike Morgan, veteran right-hander, has already started to warm up in the bullpen. He'll be ready just in case Clark is not able to continue. Curveball misses to Ryan Klesko, powerful left-handed hitter, although this is one of his poorest seasons. Only 18 homers, 70 batted in. Shallow left center, and out is Jose Hernandez, and there is 1 away. Well, I've seen a couple balls go to left that seem to carry well, and we've seen balls to center field now that both seem to get knocked down by the wind.
Well, the thing you look at with the height of the balls, the higher it goes, and then you have the elements as far as the wind blowing over the stadium, so it's able to knock the ball back. The line drives, the ones we saw going in left field, they carry a little bit. They were a little bit lower in the trajectory, so that's something that we'll definitely take a look at.
Javi Lopez, and what a year he had. Wow. So there's a little bit of a narrower strike zone, at least right now, than some umpires will give you.
Well, with this Braves staff is accustomed to a wide strike zone.
That's a pop-up down the right field line. Could be trouble. Mark Grace is one of the best. Made it look easy in the end. At number 2. Mark Grace. And I guess it was fitting that he was the one who caught your pop-up, Joe, on Monday. Gee, that's the second time I mentioned it.
Thanks, John. Did you mention that before? I really appreciate that.
I was thinking of Harry Carey when you did that. I was thinking Harry would have been, what's the matter with him?
Yeah, well,
Pops it up.
I hit it great, but the wind was blowing in. It was blowing in about 100 miles an hour, so the wind knocked that ball down.
Yeah. I'm sure your kids will believe that when you tell them that in years to come. Andrew Jones now, and that's a strike. One ball, one strike. Andrew had an outstanding year. Two down, nobody on. Last of the second inning from Turner Field in Atlanta. Mark Park on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Andrew Jones, the hitter for Atlanta. Andrew, who had 31 homers and 90 runs batted in. And Clark misses with the splitter. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes. No score in the game. I'm John Miller with Joe Carter. And we're glad to have you with us. Those of you who've been watching the Red Sox and the Cleveland Indians as Cleveland evened up that series as it gets ready to head back to Fenway Park in Boston. This is game 1 of this National League series. Tough play for Jose Hernandez, and he can't handle it. And I don't know that it would have mattered if he'd been able to with the great speed of Andrew Jones.
I'll tell you what, Andrew Jones has tremendous speed. He's a great center fielder, but he got down the line awful quick on there. It would have been a very tough play. I don't think he would have got him. You see, he squibs the ball a little bit, but it's a tough play coming in. They gave him an error on the play. I don't know. It's a very tough play in that situation.
Yeah, I don't think the scoring was a good call. I think they must have mistaken Andrew Jones for Ryan Klesko running up that first base line. Here's Michael Tucker. No score. Andrew Jones also well capable of stealing a base. He almost became the youngest 30-30 man in history. He fell 3 steals short. Finished with 27 steals, but incredibly was only caught 4 times. So he picks his spots well. Michael Tucker, the hitter. There's one thing here. If Andrew steals a base, they might just go along and walk Tucker with first base open and the pitcher due up after that. And then again, that might be a good enough reason just to go ahead and have him try to steal the base. And there's ball 1.
But you forget who's hitting. These pitchers are not normal. These are not ordinary pitchers. These guys, they love to compete. John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddox, they love to compete. They love to show everybody that they can hit. Smoltz would love for him to steal second. They walk him. He'd love to face him in that situation.
Smoltz hitting 196 this year with 5 runs batted in. 2 down, runner at first. No score in the second inning. Overcast. The game time temperature 72 degrees. They had lots of rain here, remnants of Hurricane George. Jones running, Tucker missing, and he steals it.
Let's see if they do it. You see, he gets off a tremendous jump, and he's got great acceleration. Head first slide. It's a good throw, but not in time. Throw to the third base side of second base, and if he can get it on the first base side of second base, he might have had a chance there.
So Andrew Jones now in scoring position. And the swing and a miss. Actually, a foul tip is indicated by Mike Winters, so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Michael Tucker. No score, second inning. Tucker, second year with the Braves. Came over from Kansas City last year. Got some power, 13 home runs, but only a .244 average. Good fastball hitter, and that's too high. See how I know you're sitting here, Joe, but I'm sort of kind of analyzing a little bit myself now. I like to analyze strategy, and I like to analyze strengths of the hitters, scouting reports. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. A little bit low. I don't know, was that the splitter?
That was a split finger right there. Tucker laid off of it. He kept it down the strike zone, and that's what he has to do to be effective.
Pretty good discipline here by Tucker then.
Very good discipline. They just did miss.
Remember, he's got first base open. He does not have to give in to Tucker. The pitcher, Smoltz, due up next. deep to right. On its way. The Braves have gone ahead. Sure, I understand it. He had first base open, and he gave the great fastball hitter a fastball.
We talked about it early in the telecast that he has to be able to keep the ball down. You know, he came right at him with a 3-2 fastball. With John Smoltz behind him, he went right after him. It was a mistake.
Smoltz, the hitter.
You know,
One ball, one strike.
Tucker has come through with some very big hits and very big home runs for this Atlanta Braves team, and he got him off to a good start right here.
Well, that's also why you might be tempted to go after Michael Tucker. John Smoltz, as you said, Joe, he can handle the bat.
Exactly. Anytime first base is open, get the pitcher coming up, the normal thing is to walk the guy. I mean, he knew he got it. As soon as he hit it, he knew it was a fastball. He washed it all the way. And as you can see, he's pumped up because that 240 average, right now, he's in the 1,000.
So Michael Tucker has out-homered Sammy Sosa in the postseason, at least so far. Here's Walt Weiss. He lined hard right to Grace his first time. In there for a strike. Grace is playing behind Smoltz at first base. 2-0 Atlanta. This Braves lineup can explode. I mean, they hit more homers than any Braves team in history. And Tucker was not one of the big home run sluggers on the club. On the outside corner, quickly 0-2 to Walt Weiss.
What you can ill afford to do is give this team extra outs in an inning. It was a questionable play. I don't think they would have got Andrew Jones on that one play, but it was ruled an error. So these 2 runs are unearned, but you cannot afford to give Atlanta Braves any more than 3 outs an inning.
That's foul down the right field line. Well, it's odd. I mean, you talk about pressure in the postseason. Here's Michael Tucker, who had to be feeling the heat in the regular season. In his last 156 at-bats, and that's a long time, a couple of months for a platoon player. He hit 186, got into a slump, couldn't get out of it. Now, here we are in the postseason when the pressure's at its most severe. What does he do? Home run first time out. I think he's a little more relaxed than he's been in a couple of months. Shortstop Jose Hernandez. And that's the inning. Weiss pops out, but it's 2-0 Atlanta after 2. The remainder of this game will be seen on ESPN. If you're watching on ESPN2, flip over to ESPN for the rest of the ball game. ESPN2 will join regular scheduled programming coming up. And John Smoltz, along with Whitey Ford, have the record for wins in postseason play. Of course, Whitey Ford had all 10 of his wins in the World Series, which is pretty impressive. It's its own separate record, if you ask me. But Dave Stewart, he was a primetime kind of a player, and so too is John Smoltz. He's the go-to guy this time of year. Off the end of the bat, late break by Tucker, and he caught it. Wow. He turned it into a great play, but he turned it in.
He made up some ground because he got a terrible jump. The wind kind of knocked the ball down. He thought it was hit a lot harder. Speed makes up for everything. We take the first couple of steps back, and you see him busting in. Makes a great play on a ball that he misjudged there.
Went down Jose Hernandez. Hernandez finished the year in a big slump. But he had the Cubs a lot of home run pop. 23 home runs. Played a lot of third base until Gaetti came over. He's a real tight slider. And it's 0-2.
Well, Jose has been very valuable to the Cubs because he plays so many positions. He's really a ball player you've never heard too much about, but I guarantee he's a big leaguer.
Back to the screen. Yeah, more of a utility player until this year. Jeff Blauser, the former Brave, went to the Cubs and really had his worst season. Just never got on track with the bat. And then when they got Blauser, or when they got Gaetti, they took Blauser out, put Hernandez over to short to get a little more offense in there. That one down the right field line. Tucker and Galarraga, and out of play. 0-2 the count.
The thing with Blauser, he hit the Cubs so well throughout his career. And so they go out and get him, hoping he would do the same for them. But a lot of times it doesn't always happen like that. And this is one year that you know, Jeff wants to forget about. But now he can make amends for it here in the postseason play.
He only had 219 for the Cubs. Wow. Put him away. That was a pretty tough breaking ball right there. Out number 2. John Smoltz, who has had so much success in the postseason. We asked him about it.
You can't approach a regular season game like I do a postseason game. That would mean 35 grueling, take no prisoner starts, and I don't think I'd be this good at the end of the year. So I'm a second half type of guy. My mechanics seem to click in, and the bottom line, I'm not afraid to fail. I want to take the ball in any situation.
Mark Clark, the hitter. Strike 1 from Smoltz on the outside. 2 down, nobody on. I wonder if that's the key to it, Joe. I'm not afraid to fail.
Well, you can't be afraid in those situations.
0-2 the count. I mean, you would think that that's part of all of the pressure in the postseason, right? The glare of publicity, everybody's watching, and I wonder if it makes it so tough because of the fear of failure.
Well, some guys are afraid to fail, but you got to take the attitude that, look, all you can do is do your best. What happens after that is not in your hands.
2-2 the count to Clark. Clark, only the 4th pitcher who's 3 games or more below 500 to start game 1 of a postseason series. Man, he can hit a little bit, huh? Drilled that ball.
Tell you what, he got a breaking ball up and a slider up in the zone, and Mark Clark, he's a tall guy. He hammered it. He didn't look like a pitcher then. He looked like a pretty good hitter.
Each pitcher is 1 for 1 in this game.
He hangs a slider. You see the hobby set up outside. He got the slider inside, and Clark, I mean, he put a good swing on it.
So Clark is aboard. And we saw him with some apparent knee problems. They were working on that knee a little bit when he came off the mound after the 1st inning. So I am not expecting him to try and steal a base here. Change up to Lance Johnson for a strike.
I think we can both say he's not going to steal second base.
Johnson flied out to left center his first time. Kleska to reach high over his head to snare it. Chipper Jones got to it. Ooh, man. He kind of finessed that throw, and Johnson almost beat it out. Big guys coming up for Atlanta. Braves lead 2-0. Lockhart, Chipper Jones, and the Big Cat coming up. ESPN's coverage of the National League Division Series is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping people live safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. Cubs and Braves, game 1. Atlanta leading 2-0. Mark Clark with a tough inning perhaps in front of him right here. After Keith Lockhart, you get to Chipper Jones and then Andres Galarraga. A 2-run homer by Michael Tucker with 2 down in the 2nd, putting Atlanta ahead. Shallow left center. Long run for Johnson, but Hernandez there. 1 away. Lockhart, who singled his first time, is gone. And now Chipper Jones. Last year, when the Braves played Houston in the first round of the playoffs, the Astros had won only 84 games, and there were at least 3 teams in the National League who had better records who weren't even in the playoffs. And sure enough, Atlanta did cruise. But Chipper Jones says he thinks this year is much different, and the Braves are in a position where they are not necessarily overpowering favorites or even favorites at all in the postseason.
Well, John, I mean, they had to really fight because they wanted to get home field advantage. They ended up winning 14 out of the last 16 ball games. In years past, they had such a big lead that the last week they would kind of put it in cruise control, so they didn't have any big games. But this year, they had to go into the final, really the final series against the Mets. And the Mets, it turned out, lost those 3 games and kind of knocked them out of playoff contention.
The Mets just were crushed here by Atlanta in that final 3-game series, enabling the Cubs and the Giants to get set up for that 1-game playoff. And of course, the Cubs are the team that's here. See, I didn't even mention how the Cubs ended up getting here in deference to you.
Well, I mean,
the count.
That's the part of baseball. I mean, it's been a great year for Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, a great year for baseball. And now we look up, and the Cubs are in the playoffs, haven't been here since 1989. I mean, what can I say? Baseball's been great this year.
2 strikes, and back out of play. The Cubs in '89, of course, were defeated by the Giants in the league championship series. They didn't have the division series at that point. Sammy Sosa, he was a Texas Rangers future prospect at that time. Mark Grace was in that series, and Greg Maddux pitched in that series. Now they're on opposite sides here. And the big cat for the 2nd straight time chases a high one, and Clark makes it look easy here against some big hitters. A 7-pitch inning. Morandini and then Sammy Sosa coming up. 2-0 Atlanta. Turner Field, Atlanta. Game 1 of the National League Division Series between the Cubs and Braves. Mickey Morandini leads off for Chicago. Morandini finished the year in a little bit of a slump after just having a sensational year in every respect for the Cubs. Sammy Sosa is on deck, and Morandini, part of the reason Sammy got so many of those RBIs, because he got on base a lot. Foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, RBIs are certainly a very important number, because scoring runs is what it's all about. But to get a lot of RBIs, you've got to have a lot of guys on base to drive in.
If Sammy had nobody on base, he would have had 66 RBIs this year. And we know you have to have guys in front of you get on base to accumulate all that total.
On the outside corner. For years, the Cubs were a club of just filled with free swingers. Very few guys who ever walked in the lineup on a given day. Now they got 3 or 4 guys. This one of them, Mark Grace, Mickey Morandini. Strike 3 call. Well, that's that outside pitch you were talking about, Joe. Seems to be getting it a little more here than he was in the first couple of innings.
Well, that's mostly he likes the outside corner, and we see the ball look like it was off the plate a little bit, but the Braves have been getting that consistently for the last 7 or 8 years. It's what umpires expect. It's what the pitchers expect, and they've been hitting their spots.
Now Sammy Sosa, and for the 2nd time he comes up with nobody on base. 2-0 Atlanta.
Talked about the Cubs having guys that want to walk more, and that was not like in the past. In Wrigley Field, who wants to walk? You want to swing.
Well, Sammy Sosa even walked 73 times this year, far above his previous walk record. He also hit over 300. Keeping it out there and not getting the call. 2-0. He wants that pitch, and as you say, probably expects to get it out there.
Well, yeah, he expects to get that pitch out there, but not off Sammy. He's not getting it.
Got that one. 2-1 the count. Sammy with a quick glance back at Winters. Now you saw Sammy only 4 for 34 lifetime against Smoltz. Today he's 1 for 1. Single down the left field line his first time. Going out there again. Well, he didn't get that pitch the first couple. He got it there.
No, and it looked like all 3 pitches were in very similar locations. It looks like it's right there in the corner. It could be a little bit outside, but Sammy didn't think it was a strike. But one thing Sammy is doing, he's being patient. Like I say, forget about the past. This is a new start. He's patient. He got the hit the first inning, but mostly came in. Now he's standing away from him. Let's see where he goes here.
He's going out again with the breaking ball. Walt Weiss, top of the 2.
He got away with the hanging breaking ball there. He wanted to go away with it. Didn't get it outside like he wanted to. And with a dangerous hitter like Sammy Sosa, he was very lucky there. As you can see, Javi goes way outside, but it's right down the middle of the plate. You can see that little dot that a slider makes. And like I say, he has one of the best sliders in baseball. He got away with the pitch there.
2 down. Mark Grace just off the outside. Ball 1. Grace flied out to left his first time. He walked 93 times this year and only struck out 56 times. So I mean, he's just a tough out.
Mark Grace is one of the best consummate hitters in the game. I mean, he takes what you give him. He'll pull the ball if you pitch him in. And if you go away, he'll slap it to left field.
Caught by Chipper Jones. Well,
I almost called that.
Or try to slap it to left field. Chipper intercepted it. Klesko coming up. 2-0 Atlanta. Little rain has started to fall, and National League President Leonard Coleman very wisely brought his umbrella because the forecast called for about a 60% chance of some rain today. Mark Clark with a sinker. Ball 1 for Ryan Klesko. Here we go into the last of the 4th inning. 2-0. Atlanta is leading. Klesko popped to short his first time. John Miller with Joe Carter. Looks sharply, but Mark Grace with the sure hands takes it himself. Clark was a little late, Joe, getting over there.
He definitely was, and you kind of wonder back to the first inning when he hurt his knee somehow. Maybe that could be bothering him. That's something we have to take a look at it. But Mark Grace, I mean, what a glove man. Smooth as silk over there. He turns around, makes the play. Clark didn't get there in time, but Grace was well aware of the situation and got there just in time ahead of Klesko.
Grace has picked up a couple of grounders. Made a beautiful play and a pop foul down the right field line. So Mark Clark's in pretty good shape if he keeps making him hit it to Mark Grace.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's a Gold Glove down there, and Sean Dunston takes a lot of credit for making Mark Grace a Gold Glove first baseman.
That's just, I mean, what did he do for Grace?
Well, he threw a lot of balls in the dirt, and so Grace had to become a better fielder in scooping the ball. And he kids him about that all the time. He says, hey, he made him what he is today.
I think he swung at that one. Yes, he did. 2 balls and a strike. Raining in Atlanta. The last of the 4th inning. It's not an official game, of course, at this point. They have this special turf here as they have in all of the new ballparks. I mean, they can take an incredible amount of rain here. When the rain stops, a half hour later, the field is ready to play. That's a base hit. Hit number 5 for Atlanta. First for Javi Lopez.
All these new fields, the underground turf, where it holds a lot of water. Well, Javi's having a great year. I mean, he gets a breaking ball out of the plate, gets the arms extended, drills the ball in the left field. You see him on his back leg there. He's not on his front foot, but he stays back, keeps his weight balanced. And when sometimes you can be in front of the ball, but keep your hands back. He kept his hands back good. Base hit left field. He's on first base now.
Keeping your hands back. That's what it's all about.
That's it. You can be on your front foot, and I was a front foot hitter. I must be retired. I'm talking about it, the past tense now.
Years ago when you played.
But you've got to keep your hands back.
Here's Andrew Jones. And it's 0-1. Well, years from now, truly, we may be talking about, we remember when we first saw this guy come along and we all said, I think he's going to be a big star.
Well, there's been so much said about Andrew Jones. He makes it look so easy.
Clark had him chasing one upstairs that time. 0-2. Andrew Jones, he already been a World Series here. He had a couple of home runs in his first World Series game. And yet, he is 21 years old.
I was still in college when I was 21 years old. He's played 2 or 3 years in the big leagues and done very well.
He's already got 54 homers. Well, he went even higher with that one and got it. And Jones, I think we can understand it now, is 1 for 13 lifetime against Mark Clark.
What Mark Clark is doing here, he's throwing a fastball up the ladder. He swung his strike 2. The ball was up in the zone. Strike 3 was a little bit higher. As a hitter, you see the ball so well at eye level because it looks so good. And where you think you can get a hold of it, but up there, not too many pitchers can hit, not too many batters can hit that pitch way up there.
Michael Tucker. He hit a 3-2 pitch over the right field wall for a 2-run homer his first time. It's that outside ball called strike one. 2-0 Atlanta in the last of the fourth. Now a light drizzle, I'm calling it. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know if I have my terminology right.
Well, the wind has changed direction a little bit. It's blowing in a little bit. Had Tucker hit that ball now, it may not have gotten out.
Too far outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's all about a game of adjustments. Right now, they pitched him in the 3-2 pitch. It was out over the plate. He hit it out. Now they're going further and further away. They don't want him to get that chance to pull something else again.
High in the air, but the deep part of the ballpark this time. That's Johnson, plenty of room. And that is the inning. So Smoltz, the pitcher, will lead off the next inning. 1 hit, 1 left. Henry Rodriguez coming up. 2-0 Atlanta. Playoffs in the rain from Atlanta. John Miller, Joe Carter with you on ESPN. Earlier today, right here on ESPN, the Cleveland Indians squared things with the Boston Red Sox as they had to. A critical game in a 5-game series for Cleveland at home before going to Fenway Park. And it did not start very well for Cleveland there. Mike Hargrove was ejected about 3 pitches into the game, and then Dwight Gooden, the starting pitcher, was ejected just a little while later. But they came back and they won it.
Cleveland showed a lot of poise by coming back because they were down 2-0. Did not want to go down 2-0 going back to Boston.
Henry Rodriguez, the hitter. Too low from Smoltz. Rodriguez flied out to shallow center his first time. Rodriguez has excellent power. 36 home runs a couple of years back for the Montreal Expos. 31 this year as of late August. But never hit again after injuring his ankle. He rarely played even after coming back. He never was fully operational when he got back. He played 5 straight days late in the month. Never a full game. He's in there today in the playoffs. Wow, there's the changeup from Smoltz. That is quite a different look from Smoltz.
Well, it is. You're used to the split finger, and all of a sudden you see the changeup. It doesn't go down as much. It's not as hard, and it's a great equalizer because the guy throws so hard.
2-2 the count. Smoltz really, because of necessity. His elbow has been troubling him. He needed to shelve the split finger because of the tension that it put on the elbow, the stress.
The split finger.
And the strikeout. Division Series action tomorrow. Joe Morgan and I will be at the Astrodome. The Padres and Astros game 2, and the Astros in a critical game. They need to win. Down 1-0 That's 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central on ESPN. Then the Cubs and Braves tomorrow night from Atlanta. Kevin Tapani and Tom Glavine, a 19-game winner. Glavine, a 20-game winner. That's on Fox. Be sure, after the Braves-Cubs game tomorrow night, to tune in to SportsCenter here on ESPN for complete post-game coverage from Turner Field. And after that at midnight, baseball tonight. So this is your place for baseball. We'll keep you covered all through the playoffs. Gary Gaetti, high foul out of play, and quickly he's behind Smoltz at 0-2. Curveball and then a 95-mile-an-hour heater.
You know, the best pitch in baseball is still the fastball. People want to go up there and trick a hitter, but if you do not establish your fastball, you will not get big league hitters out on all-speed pitches.
2 strikes. Jones. Number 2.
And it does help when you can throw the fastball at 95 miles an hour. Chipper Jones, you see he got in on Gotti's kitchen. Ground ball third base. He comes up, makes a good play, and Galarraga, there's that glove. It's so important at first base. And the infielders love guys over there who can make those plays because it saves them a lot of errors.
2 down, nobody on. And Tyler Houston. Andres Galarraga, one of the best there is at first base. And he didn't even have Sean Dunston to help turn him into a Gold Glover.
No, the big cat, he can pounce on a lot of balls. And that's where he gets the big cat because he's big, but hey, he's mighty tough over there.
Right on the outside edge. Now, the first batter of the game for the Cubs, Lance Johnson. And And Smoltz went to a 3-ball count on him and has not gone to 3 balls on a batter since. Talking about the Cubs getting more walks this year. And they're getting that on-base percentage, more base runners, more runs. But not today. No walks by Smoltz. I mean, he's just been outstanding with that control. Even when he's fallen behind hitters, he's been able to make his pitch. On a changeup. Galarraga going over, but this one will land in amongst the spectators for a souvenir. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on for the Cubs here in the 5th inning, trailing 2-0.
And one of those reasons why John Smoltz probably has not gone a 3-0. Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, he really emphasizes strike one. If you make strike 1, then you have, and the hitter is at a disadvantage because you have to look for 3 or 4 different pitches. When you get behind, then it's narrowed down. You have a chance to look for a fastball or look for your pitch. So strike 1 is very important.
2-2 the count. There's Leo Mazzoni. Changeup. That's foul on the third base side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. John Smoltz against the Cubs and against Kerry Wood. May the 23rd. Only 2 innings left the mound, knowing he was going to have to go back into the disabled list. He had elbow surgery last December. And he said after thinking that he might even retire because the pain was just bearing down on him. Just off the outside. 3-2.
Did somebody say retire?
Yeah. But he said he was ready to quit. And unlike yourself, he talked himself out of it. He's still playing. Houston fouls that one away. 3-2 the count.
Well, my kids wouldn't let me talk my way out of this one. They said, no, Daddy, we want you to come home. So I love that feeling. It's going to be great for me to spend some time with them.
3-2 the count to Houston. There's Kerry Wood. He is on the roster. He pitched in an instructional league game in Arizona Monday. All the indications were good. And that's a foul ball. Kerry Wood in the instructional league, 51 pitches. He was able to throw his fastball, slider, and changeup. He's topping out at 95 miles an hour. No pain the next day. They activated him on the roster. He might get the start in the third game of this series on Saturday at Wrigley Field.
That would be a tremendous boost to the Chicago Cubs, to the fans. I mean, Kerry Wood has been a sensational pitcher this year.
Down on strikes. 4 strikeouts for Smoltz. Smoltz coming up. We'll be back. Smoltz and the Braves leading 2-0 as Smoltz leads off here in the last of the 5th inning. We talked to him before the game about his injury.
I don't complain. I don't ask people to feel sorry for me. I've just dealt with it the best way I could. And this second half, you know, there was a stretch of 6 starts where after that start, I said, I'm going to take the next one off. I can't keep doing this. And I've had my elbow drained 3 times and shot up. But I'm used to it. Everybody on our staff's used to it. Everybody pitches hurt. And it's easy to pitch when you're healthy. It's a little bit more tough and mentally strong you have to be when you're hurting. And that's what makes our staff so great. Not the numbers we put up, but the fact that we take the ball under any circumstance.
And that's all part of the reason why John Smoltz, after the great success he had after coming off the disabled list for a second time this year, said this is the best season that he's ever had. He said this season blows away his Cy Young year, 1996. That's how good he felt about the way he pitched this year. And he went 17-3, only had 26 starts.
Well, like he said, I mean, it's easy to pitch when you're healthy, but it shows what you're made of when you can play hurt and be productive. He's been hurt this year, 17-3. When you go to war, he wants some warriors. He wants some guys out there who would take the ball. And he is right. That's what makes this Atlanta pitching staff so dominant, because they want the ball, and players behind them love to play behind guys who want the baseball.
And even though he missed all of those starts to win 17 games, amazing, the Braves had 5 pitchers who won 16 or more. They had to feel for the Mets a little bit. I know you didn't. But on Saturday, here they needed a big win. And the starting pitcher had 17 wins. And then the first reliever had 17 wins. And then Denny Nagel. I mean, it was incredible. Every guy had as good a record as the first 3 pitchers they put in there that day had 52 wins.
They just kept reloading and reloading. It was like a automatic rifle. I mean, they just kept coming at you from all angles. And I mean, they've got some arms. It's been well documented. They have probably the best pitching staff in baseball.
Paul Weiss, the hitter, just a little bit outside, and so it's not so surprising. I mean, this Braves ball club, after all these outstanding clubs in the 90s, 7 straight titles, they won 106 games. This is probably the best of all of them. That's a base hit over the head of Morandini. So Weiss with a dunker for his first hit of the game. Hit number 6 for Atlanta. Weiss had only played 3 games in September until the weekend series of the Mets, and he started all 3 of those because of that quadricep injury, and it's still giving him some trouble. He is not at full strength, although he was able to score a run running hard on the base paths, and he said he was glad to have tested it that way and felt that he came through the test well. Weiss, another guy that is new to this ball club this year, along with Galarraga. Here's Keith Lockhart. And that's ball 1 up and away. Weiss also, of course, missed time. And his son Cody was ill around the All-Star break. And that became a national story at that time. And we're happy to report that his son Cody is doing fine now.
Well, that was a big moment there for the Weiss family. Him going to Denver, a place where he just played for the All-Star game. His son's sick. It was great. It was great for baseball, and this whole year has been great for baseball with the kids on the field, with the home runs, the wild card playoff. I mean, it's been an all-around super year here in baseball.
Keith Lockhart up the middle, and Johnson almost came in too far. Look out.
The hardest ball to catch is the ball hit right at you, and as an outfielder, it's tough to judge it. He comes in, the ball almost gets over his head. He thought it was hit as kind of shallow. Wow, he had to make a great play. If he don't make that play, the one dog can get up.
The one dog, Lance Johnson. So I think it was Hawk Harrelson gave him that nickname, and when he was with the White Sox on the other side of Chicago, the south side. Here's Chipper Jones. He's fly down and grounded out. Ball 1 from Mark Clark, trailing 2-0. Pitched pretty well, but he had one very bad pitch to Michael Tucker on a 3-2 count with John Smoltz up next. He'd like to, I'm sure, get a do-over on that one. Just a bit low.
One thing that people don't really realize about, we talked about Lance Johnson, the one dog. He swings probably the heaviest bat in all of baseball. He swings, for a little guy, he swings a 36, 37-ounce bat. And, I swing a 32-ounce bat. I could not possibly swing that, but he swings it and swings it well.
High in the air to right field, Sammy Sosa. Plenty of room. And that retires Chipper Jones. Heading to the 6th inning now. The Cubs without a run, trailing 2-0. 6th inning, and so far more of the same from John Smoltz. He got a 2-hit shutout going, no walks, slim picking so far for the Chicago Cubs, and he has owned that outside part of the plate. 0-1 to Jose Hernandez, the pitcher. Mark Clark will follow, and then Lance Johnson, the leadoff man. Still, despite the superior pitching of Smoltz, the Cubs are right in the game, down only 2-0. Atlanta has been able to break through against Clark for just the 2-run homer by Tucker in the 2nd inning.
And really, that's been the only mistake he's made all day, and it put him down 2-0. But like you say, they are in this ball game, and Smoltz is throwing a gem of a game right now.
There's the curveball, but low, or the slider. No swing on the appeal. Bill Hahn, the first base umpire, making the ruling. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jose Hernandez. He struck out his first time. By the way, it's 5 strikeouts for Smoltz. I had said 4, and I was in error. That slider's too high. 2-2 to Hernandez. The only 2 hits for the Cubs, a first-inning single by Sammy Sosa, and a third-inning single by Mark Clark, the pitcher, who's on deck. Each of them came with 2 down in an inning, and those have been their only base runners. Toward the middle. Lockhart throws him out. And there's one away. Save boxing fans. The tradition of championship bouts and top-rated challengers will continue with a new twist. Classic fight footage on ESPN2's Friday Night Fights, premiering this Friday. There will be an NABF super middleweight title fight from Philadelphia. Live, Thomas Tate versus Demetrius Davis. Will also be same-day coverage from Poland of a major heavyweight fight. Andrew Galata and Tim Witherspoon. And the latest boxing news and information as well. That's 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, from Philadelphia. The Friday Night Fights on the Deuce. 2 strikes to Mark Clark. I think Smokes took it personally that Clark singled the last time up there.
Well, Clark took it personally. He singled off him also.
Center field. Andrew Jones way back there, but made it look easy.
He makes everything look easy. I mean, you know, a lot of people maybe think it's showboating, but he's got tremendous speed. He gets great jumps in the ball. I mean, he should win his first Gold Glove this year. I mean, he looks effortless. Just glides back. The ball's on his left shoulder, but he doesn't turn around. He just catches over his left shoulder there instead of turning around and making the play the other way. That's just the way he is. I mean, he's, like I said, he could win his first Gold Glove this year.
Bobby Cox says Andrew Jones has played center field, and it's the best that he's ever seen. He said, hey, they tell me Willie Mays in his prime. I never saw him in his prime. Was the best. He says, but I can't believe that anybody could have been better than Andrew Jones. So that's pretty high praise from Bobby Cox, who is usually not prone to hyperbole. I mean, Bobby, if anything, will err on the side of caution when he describes the talents of his players, but nothing but superlatives for Andrew Jones. And they've had a somewhat rocky relationship this year.
Yes, they have.
Lance Johnson, that's a strike on the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And maybe it's because of those expectations why they had a kind of a rocky differences, because he felt that Andrew Jones was not hustling on a couple of plays because he knows what he's capable of doing.
Felt they needed to mature. And maybe he showed him what you might call tough love.
Well, he's only 21 years old right now, so I think he's going to mature.
On the breaking ball, a bloop into shallow left. Weiss out, Klesko in. And it's a single for Lance Johnson, waving that big piece of lumber.
I tell you what, Lance is a small guy, but he's got a 40-ounce bat at the plate, really unheard of. But he just likes to drop the head of the bat onto the ball. He doesn't swing it. He just throws the head, drops it down there, and puts the goodwill on the ball. Klesko comes in, tries to make a good play, a slide. He slid a few yards there. But with this wet grass, the ball was not going to bounce anywhere once it hit.
So that ends a stretch where Smoltz had retired 9 Cubs in a row. Here's Morandini. Morandini caught by Lockhart. And he might have even mistimed his leap there, but that's a big play with Sammy Sosa on deck. Sammy would have had a shot with a couple of men on. Now he'll have to lead off the next inning. Still 2-0 Atlanta after 5.5.
Bob Stevens in your baseball studio. Earlier today at the Jake, Mike Hargrove tossed by Joe Brinkman after just 3 pitches. Doc Gooden tossed by Joe Brinkman after just 3 more hitters. Boston down 2-0, but in the bottom of the second, tee it low and watch it go. Dave Justice, a 3-run homer, a 5-run second. Indians go on to win 9-5 to even the series. Back to John in Atlanta.
All right, Bob. And here is Andres Galarraga. Let me get it right. Andres Galarraga, El Gato Grande, facing Mark Clark, El Lanzador. And that slide piece on the outside for a ball.
Clark has gotten him out by Galarraga chasing 2 high fastballs.
Broken bat into shallow left. It's in front of Rodriguez. Well, Galarraga just got to muscle that one out there. This time, Clark was not ahead of him.
No, he wasn't. And when you're ahead of the hitter, the hitter's at your will because you can throw what you want. But he got behind. He couldn't throw the high fastball. He tried to get a fastball, but it was, middle of the plate, middle in, belt high. Well, he broke his bat, but he was able to fight it off and put it into left field.
I wonder if he wanted to get that one a little more in than he did.
Yeah, well, he definitely did.
Now, Ryan Klesko, 0 for 2. Popped out and grounded out. thing you don't expect a whole lot of with Clark on the mound is a double play ball in a spot like this, although Klesko is a pretty good candidate for one. He does not run real well. But Clark induced only 5 double play grounders all year. Second lowest of any major league pitcher.
Does that mean he's a fly ball pitcher?
I think so.
Okay. Good cut.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs bullpen is getting busy now. We're in the 6th inning. The right-hander on the left side of the screen is Karchner. The left-hander on the right is Heredia. Karchner and Heredia up in the Cubs bullpen in the 6th inning. Ryan Klesko at the plate. 8 of the outs recorded behind Mark Clark have been on balls hit in the air. Missing inside with a fastball. 2-1 the count.
Well, he is a fly ball pitcher, and you know that's why he's given up so many home runs throughout his career and this year, because a fly ball pitcher in the ballpark like a Wrigley Field, the ball's going to fly out.
2 balls and a strike. Up the middle, base hit. Galarraga is going to head for third. Johnson will throw back to the second. So the Braves are set up nicely. First and third, nobody out, and the slugging Javi Lopez coming up. What a year he had. Lopez, who just seems to get better every year. This year, 34 homers, 106 RBIs, and Riggleman signaling out to his infield. You talking about bunt defense here, Joe? What's he talking about?
Well, I think he's more worried about maybe if he tries to steal a base. Well, Klesko's not going to really steal too much, but he may be going. They want to get the double play in order. You know, you talk about Javier and how much he's matured. You know, it helps when you have a pitching staff like the Braves, because a catcher's job is not to hit, it's to call a great game. He didn't have to worry about that because the pitchers will call their games themselves.
Right to shortstop. The runners get back. Wow. He cracked that one, but right to Hernandez. Sometimes it's better to be a little bit lucky than good.
That is true. The old Adam ball. I mean, he got a pitch that he was looking for. At minute-score position, you want to be aggressive. He was aggressive. He got a great pitch to handle. Hit it right like he wanted to, but unfortunately, he was right at the shortstop.
And Hernandez came up ready to throw, but Ryan Klesko was not going anywhere at first base.
When a pitcher is struggling and not getting the first pitch over, the hitter will go up there and look for that first pitch fastball because he knows he's struggling and he wants to get that pitch for a strike.
Andrew Jones. Right center field. Plenty deep enough to get the run home as Sosa makes the grab. And here comes Galarraga. 3-0 Atlanta. So the scoring has been occurring at the bottom of the Braves order in this one. Jones started the first rally, although they scored an error, and then Tucker homered. Tucker coming up now. The other 2 runs came back in the second inning on a 3-2 pitch. Tucker flied out the straightaway center his lap time. But he's been getting good cuts all day against Mark Clark. Strike on the outside.
Tucker's a guy who will put the ball in play. He's very aggressive. He wants to pull the ball because he wants that fastball. He's not going to go away to his weakness, which is the outside corner. He's going to try to swing that pitch late in the count, but not early in the count.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Mark Clark pitching on 3 days of rest. Unusual for him. And his job, keep his club in the game, and he's done that for the Cubs today. But the Cubs have not been able to score against the Braves. A familiar lament for so many teams over the years. Boy, to Morandini. But that ends the inning. So now the Cubs, as we head into the late innings, are down by 3. Sosa, Grayson Rodriguez coming up. There's a young Braves fan, but right now, all eyes on Sammy Sosa of the Chicago Cubs. Sosa can do nothing more here than try and start a Cubs rally. And a rally is what they need. They're starting to run out of outs in this one. It's the 7th inning. Sosa has singled to left and grounded to short. Mutt, that's one of only 3 hits and 3 base runners for the Cubs thus far against John Smoltz. They have not had a single base runner as far as second base even. Here's Sosa. High for ball 1. And again, in the playoff game against the Giants on Monday night, he was a guy who was starting rallies. That is a base hit down the left field line. And an extra base hit for Sosa. The first extra base hit of the day for the Cubs, and that's just what they needed from Sammy Sosa. I mean, they would like to have gotten a home run. It would have been exciting. But they need somebody to get on base and get them started here. Now Grace, then Rodriguez and Gaetti coming up.
Well, Sammy's job here is to get on base. He got the fastball, looked like a fastball inside, up, out of the plate. And Sammy is very quick. And the one thing I like what Sammy is doing, he's being patient at the plate. You know, he had so many walks this year, more than he ever had in his career. He was patient. He's taking what they give him, and when they made a mistake, there, he capitalized on it.
Grace, who is usually patient. First ball swinging there, and an easy pop fly to shallow left center, Andrew Jones. So Sosa had to hold on.
Mark Grace seems a little frustrated here because he gets the pitch that he feels that he wants. He gets up on it just a little bit. You know, his job there is to try to keep the inning going, get maybe Sosa over to third base because the Cubs need base runners. They need some runs to get back in this ball game because it's getting down to the crunch time now. But you don't want to get to the 8th and 9th innings with Lightberg over there, or even Smoke still in the game because it's looking kind of dim.
One down, Henry Rodriguez, 31 homers in the regular season. Ball 1. He has flied to shallow center and struck out in this game. Only 2 for 24 lifetime against John Smoltz. So the Cubs' 2 biggest home run hitters have had the most utility against Smoltz, Sosa and Rodriguez. But today, Sammy is 2 for 3. Wow. Talk about being challenged. I mean, he came right after him, and that was the pitch. I'm speaking on behalf of Henry here. I think he'd like to see that one again.
Yes, no, he definitely would, because Smoltz, I mean, he's going to challenge you, but he's also going to pick his spots. He's not going to just leave you something down the middle of the plate. He's going to hit the corners because these Braves pitchers, they do not give in.
Going outside. He took it 2-1.
There he goes back away. He shows you the fastball inside. You may have one pitch to hit off him, but after that, he's going to go away and make you hit his pitch. The Cubs players have got to be patient and take what they give him. Right now, they're taking the outside pitch. They've got to be able to hit that ball the other way.
The outfield playing him toward left field. We'll get the change up there. 2-2.
Well, he keeps the hitter out in front because he throws the ball so hard, and he throws a great fastball, and he has established his fastball. In a hitter's mind, a hitter always wants to go up there and be ready for the fastball. If you're not throwing a fastball for strikes or haven't thrown in the game, then they're going to say breaking ball and you will get hurt. But John Smoltz, he's established his fastball. They know they can throw it. He can throw it by them. So now they're thinking about getting the bat head through the strike zone as quickly as possible. And that's what makes the changeup so effective.
Back to the fastball. A little bit off the outside. One of the few 3-ball counts of the day. Only the 3rd of the day for Smoltz, who has not walked anybody. 5 strikeouts. Facing a Cubs team that had 49 come from behind wins this year. 24 of them in their final, or actually 24 of their wins in their final at bat. Curveball, he just got a piece of that one. 3-2. One day, Javi Lopez saw a pitch he'd never seen from Smoltz before. The inning ended. They sat in the dugout. I said, John, you want to tell me what that pitch was? He says, I called out my slow curveball. He says, well, thanks for telling me about it.
Well, it's better than looking for a breaking ball and him throwing a fast fastball, and you're looking for a slow breaking ball.
3-2 the count. The fastball for the strikeout. Now, our reading on that one was 89. That's not as fast as normal.
Well, you know, you can can take the velocity off of it, but look at the location. Right outside corner. I mean, he doesn't give in to the hitters. I mean, he takes a little bit off the fastball, but he still, because he throws every pitch on the outside corner, he's able to throw his slider, his forkball, his changeup, his slider, everything on the outside corner. He's very effective.
Here's Gaetti on the outside. Fastball. It's 0-1. So the speed, not so relevant there. The spot that he's hitting.
Right, that's the spot. You have to respect that spot, but he throws all 4 pitches to the same location. You don't have too many pitchers that can do that.
Quickly, Gaetti in a hole, chasing the high, hard one. The Braves bullpen busy for the first time today. Dennis Martinez, the veteran right-hander, and John Rocker, the rookie left-hander, heating up just in case. The Cubs have a man in scoring position for the first time all day. Sosa at second, but now with 2 down. Higher still, but Gaetti laid off. Sammy led off this inning with a double, but he is still at second base. Grace popped out to shallow left center. Rodriguez struck out. And he's got Gaetti in a hole. Gaetti went after that high, hard one and back into the upper deck. Out of play. Now he has done well with Smoltz. Relatively speaking.
He's one of the few guys that have. As we see now, Smoltz, he's kind of elevating his fastball now. He's trying to rear back. When he struck out Rodriguez 89 miles an hour, he's trying to rear back and grab something else, so he's getting up in the zone.
And a half swing to second. Lockhart throws it out. All hard stuff to Gaetti, then the breaking ball for the out. 3-0 Atlanta, middle of the 7th. Mark Clark to John Smoltz, last of the 7th inning in Atlanta. The Braves leading 3-0. Smoltz has singled and he has struck out. Game 1 of the National League Division Series between the Cubs and Braves. Smoltz with a big cut at that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. There has not been a walk in this game from either pitcher. Smoltz 6 strikeouts, no walks. Clark 4 strikeouts, no walks. But the Braves have 3 on the board against them. And he goes to 2-1. All things considered, I think if you'd say to Jim Riggleman, if he'd given up 3 runs going into the 7th, would you take that? He'd say definitely.
Well, he definitely would take it, and Clark has definitely done his job.
Just off the outside. The pitch has been a strike a few times today, I think.
But not that time.
And Smoltz gets the first walk of the game, and a real consideration for Riggleman now is the durability of Clark in this one, working on just 3 days of rest. And we saw in the first inning they were working on his left knee a little bit. Looked like he was having some problems with it. Jim Riggleman is heading out now. He cannot see into the left field bullpen, which is the Cubs bullpen, but they have activity going on out there. Into this Heredia, there you see him, the left-hander. And with the switch hitting Weiss, the lefty Lockhart, and the switch hitting Chipper Jones, it is Heredia who will get the call. So, Clark is finished. 6 innings plus. Braves lead. We'll be back. There is 22-year-old left-hander Felix Heredia. He was a member of the world champion Florida Marlins pitching staff last year. And in fact pitched 4 times in the World Series against Cleveland without allowing a run. 5 2/3 scoreless innings. This year, the number's not quite as good, and Jim Riggleman was a little hesitant to use him in the last few days of the season. In fact, so much so on Monday night against the Giants in the playoff game, he went with Terry Mulholland a day after he had thrown 121 pitches. Weiss switches around to bat right-handed and bunts it back to Heredia. He goes to second. Hernandez 1, back to first. See. So Weiss trying to get the sacrifice down, almost bunted into a double play.
Came very close. Heredia came off the mound. It was a bad bunt. It was bunted right back to the pitcher. When you do that, you take a chance of hitting to a double play ball.
1 gone. Weiss aboard.
You see the crashing from both corners. It was just a bad bunt, but it right back to the pitcher. It's a very easy play, and it came very close. You see, Mickey saved a great throw from Jose Hernandez. Or to keep the ball where it was, keep him on first base.
Lockhart will bat left-handed against the lefty because he's a left-handed batter. switch him around if they can, because from the right side he just does not have much power. It's a much tougher game for Chipper Jones when he has to bat right-handed.
Yeah, it definitely is, and he knows that. He knows all the league knows that, and they're going to try to make him hit the other way.
The dirt, great save by Tyler Houston. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3-0 Atlanta. Last of the 7th inning. The big guns are coming up here for the Braves.
Tyler gets over, makes a good scoop on the breaking ball, low in the dirt. Heredia's got a good fastball. He also throws the changeup, and he's been very comfortable with throwing that changeup.
Got Barry Bonds out in a big spot in the 7th inning. The bases loaded on Monday. Very high. Brady came into the game. Mark Clark. Looks on. 6 innings plus. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 run earned. Runner going, the ball fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Heredia, the base loaded and 2 down in the Monday night ball game of the Giants. Came to face Barry Bonds and got him to hit a slider right to Mark Grace at first base for the final out of the inning. Big play in that game.
Well, yeah, it definitely was a big play. I mean, we needed to, at that time, to get something going. He came in and put the fire out and got a great hitter in a clutch situation.
2-2 to Lockhart. Weiss at first. Grace on the bag with him. He's not going. The breaking ball is very high.
Lockhart, he stays in there very well against a left-handed pitcher. You know, so much is made of matchups with left-handers against left-handers. And the first move the left-hander wants to make as far as the hit is concerned is step out of the batter's box, step towards first base. But Lockie, he stays in there pretty good because he likes to drive the ball the opposite field.
He's 1 for 3 in the game. Hit it infield, double play down. 3-2. Weiss not running. And he walks him. Well, he's had a problem against left-handed hitters this year. I mean, the lefties have actually hit better against him than the right-handers have. And here, he didn't give Lockhart a chance to hit him. He walked him.
Well, you know, sometimes that does happen because you only face predominantly left-handed hitters, and you never get a chance to face a right-hander, so a right-hander never sees you. So you end up getting the right-handers out more than you get the left-handers out. But with the ball going away from you, a left-hander is always a good low ball hitter and is taught really to hit the ball the opposite way.
Chipper Jones, 0 for 3 today, hit .298 batting right-handed, but only 2 home runs in 181 at-bats. This is too low.
One of those was against the Giants.
What a memory.
I was there. I saw it firsthand.
Still a little sore about it, apparently.
Oh, no. No.
Walt Weiss at second. Keith Lockhart at first. 1 out. The power is up for the Braves. Jones, Galarraga behind him. 2-0 to Chipper Jones. There's Matt Karchner, a right-hander up in the Cubs bullpen. This will perhaps be the final batter for Heredia with the right-handed slugger, Galarraga, on deck. And the Riggleman would like this for one of those sliders to be hitting the ground at somebody for a double play. But he can't get the ball over the plate. And he's missing it more and more with each subsequent pitch.
Well, we talked about base on balls, that there had been no base on balls up until the last inning and a half. Now Heredia's come in, and one thing that's gotten him in trouble is not throwing the ball over the plate. He's got behind the hitters and walked Keith Lockhart, and now he's down 3-0 to Chipper Jones. And now, do you let Chipper swing here? They have a chance to really put this ball game away with a big hit here right here.
All right, you asked the question, but I mean, do you let him swing?
No, if he was left-handed, right-handed pitcher, sure, I'll let him swing. But from the right side, Heredia really hasn't come to plate. I would take in this situation.
He won't.
Now you have the bases loaded, and you got the big cat coming up, and the fans are looking for some excitement.
The bases are loaded on walks. 3 walks in the inning. Galarraga coming up to try and break this one open. The Braves already leading 3-0. Karchner coming in. ESPN's coverage of the National League Division. Division Series is brought to you by American Standard Gas Furnaces, built to a higher standard. Braves 3, Cubs nothing. Last of the 7, but Atlanta threatening to break it open right here against the Cubs. I'm John Miller with Joe Carter, and the rookie broadcaster after his final game as a major leaguer just a couple of days ago. And Joe, Andres Galarraga's up here in an RBI spot. This is the spot you excelled in for so many years. I mean, if you're Galarraga, what are you thinking in this at bat against Parchment?
Well, the one thing you want to do, this is Parchment's first event here in the postseason. You want to go up there and you want to make him throw you a strike. Andres, he's been a little bit excited swinging out his first 2 times up. He swung the fastball up in the strike zone for 2 strikeouts. Now he needs to be patient. Make Parchment throw him a strike so he can see the ball, because this is a situation where they can blow the game open right here.
And Galarraga, remember, we think of this Braves team as being so playoff hardened and tested. They've all been here before, but not Andres. I mean, this is his first year with Atlanta.
That's a great point, because I didn't realize that. You know, he fits in so well. You think he's been here a long time.
Yeah, you really do. You can't even remember that he played for somebody else. Galarraga played against Atlanta in the division series in '95, while with the Rockies had 18 at-bats and 5 hits. It's his only experience, and they were a huge underdog. The bases are loaded with Weiss at third, Lockhart at second, Chipper Jones at first. Parchner, 1 ball, no strikes, 2-0. And now the late season nightmares are being revisited for the Cubs. I mean, that bullpen was not getting the job done, other than Rod Beck consistently in the late going.
Well, they did blow a lot of leads late in the game because of the inconsistency in the bullpen. And right now he's behind 2-0. He's got to be able to throw a strike right here.
3-0.
This is a very tough situation to come in for your first postseason, to be able to throw a strike. The bases loaded. You're down 3-0, and you have the number 4-hole hitter up. And it's a very tough situation.
3-1. And I guess that answers the question as to whether or not Galarraga was going to be swinging in 3-0 or be allowed to.
Well, 3-0, you're going to see the same pitch from the strike. You see the same pitch 3-1.
Off the fists. Grace and Morandini. Grace, what a play. Tagging but stopping. Down the line from third was Weiss. The ball cut off by Jose Hernandez. And Mark Grace, I mean, he goes back on a ball like that as well as anybody.
He looked like a receiver. I mean, that was over the shoulder catch for a touchdown. But the big thing was he was able to get the ball back into the infield. You saw Lockhart go down the line because he thought about scoring. The throw was a little bit up the line. He may have had a chance, but he didn't want to risk it there. Great play by Grace. Or Weiss, I'm sorry.
So, 2 men are gone. Grace catching the ball, and Weiss, the runner who started down the line from third. As Joe mentioned, here's Klesko. Ball. Off-speed pitch. Well, now, Parchner did his job. He got the right-handed hitter, and a great one in a big spot.
And now comes Klesko.
A little lefty.
And he's behind 1-0.
Andres Galarraga, it's interesting, despite the great year and all the power, did not hit all that well with men in scoring position overall. Galarraga hit only .268 in those kinds of at-bats. Klesko, another shot here for the Braves to break it open. 3 men on, 2 men down. 2-0.
You know, with men in scoring position late in the game, I mean, you want to put the pressure on the pitcher. Take it off yourself as a hitter and say, hey, he's got to come to me. He's got to get me out. I'm not going to swing at his pitch. I'm going to swing at my pitch. And so you reverse the pressure and not think that it's on you.
Klesko has hit 6 grand slams in his career, 4th in the Braves all-time list. Well, that was not a fat pitch by any means. He wailed away at it, fouled it back, 2-1.
Well, Klesko, he's not going to get cheated. He's going to go up there. He's got a high finish. He's looking to make contact. I mean, 2-0, he's not going to get cheated. 2-0, you want to be aggressive. You want to swing the bat when you know that he has to throw you a fastball for a strike. to him. He set up away. The ball came back across the inside part of the plate.
They'll all be running. 2 down, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The crowd rises to its feet. The runners go. Deep right, on its way. Grand slam for Klesko. And they have broken it open. 7-0 Atlanta. With a big swing and fouling one back to the screen. Well, it seemed like just a matter of time. He got behind Galarraga, miraculously retired it, but then he got behind Klesko as well, and it was Klesko who retired that ball.
You know, John, I think you may have ESP. We talked about base on balls. All of a sudden, they start walking people. We talk about a grand slam. Klesko hits a grand slam. I mean, but walks will always come back to haunt you. When you don't let the team put the ball in play, you're in for a big inning, and that's exactly what happened.
So 3 walks and then the grand slam. And Heredia, the 22-year-old, unable to really get his job done. We got the favorable matchups. He walked the lefty, Lockhart. And down on strikes goes Lopez. Some good pitches there, but a little bit late. Ryan Klesko, a disappointment in the regular season, but he comes up big here in Game 1 of the division series. 6 outs in life left for the Cubs, and they are trailing 7-0 in Atlanta. First ball swinging, Tyler Houston hits one a long way to right center field. This one, he is gone. Tyler Houston, first ball swinging in the 8th inning, launches one into the Atlanta bullpen near the 390-foot marker. But it is a bittersweet moment for the Cubs. This one comes only after they had fallen down by 7 runs.
First pitch fastball. Tyler Houston swinging, got it out over the plate, just over the wall, out in the outstretched arms of Michael Tucker. So at least they got on the board, but like you say, the grand slam really hurt them.
Now Jose Hernandez outside for ball 1. A new left fielder is in the game for Atlanta, replacing Ryan Klesko. A hero one moment, and just a guy to be replaced for defensive purposes the next.
Well, I think it was a good move by Bobby Cox, and it gives Danny Batista a chance to get in the game and settle his nerves a little bit. So I don't think it was much. I don't think it was because Klesko couldn't do the job. I think he just wanted Danny to get a chance to get out there and play.
Swinging wildly, Hernandez walks one into shallow right, and Tucker takes it. Another big blow of the game. Ryan Klesko launching one in the 3-2 pitch.
Fastball right down the middle of the plate, and I think he knew he had got it. The bench, everybody pumped, everybody excited because that a 7-run lead with this ball club. It doesn't look too good right now for the Cubs.
And a round of applause for a former Atlanta Brave. Jeff Blauser up to face John Smoltz as a pinch hitter for Matt Parchman. Well, we can see why Jim Riggleman made some of the moves he made during the last couple of days of the regular season. And then the Sunday, right, he went with Mulholland. He even blew a 3-1 lead in the 8th inning and stayed with it. And then with Beck for nearly 3 innings, and then he lost, and then both of them again the next night. And even with a big lead, and it almost backfired. The Giants falling just a little bit short in their comeback, but Riggleman just does not have much faith right now in anybody else in that bullpen. And Heredia and Karchner were not up to the task in this one. And right now, there will be Lauser chases the high one. Shallow left center. Daniel Bautista just in. You see, Fresco could have done that.
Well, see, you know, the fish that Rod Beck got me out on, I mean, it was, what, 150-mile-an-hour fastball inside. I was, you know, I was lucky to get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's Joe's story, and he's sticking with it.
That's right. Regardless of what the other 40 million people who saw the game said.
You know what Rod said after that, and it was interesting, because it came against his old team, the Giants, and he gets the save in the game that beats them. And we'll get back to that later, but John Smoltz is being lifted here with 2 down. And a standing ovation for the veteran, well on his way to his 11th postseason victory. He'll be back. 7-1 Atlanta, top of the 8th inning, and rookie John Rocker, only 23 years of age. He'll turn 24 next month. And Rocker became an important man in this bullpen. A lefty who seems to be able to get lefties out. You see his numbers pretty impressive. Throws hard. Now you might say, yeah, but Smoltz is rolling. He just got the last 2 guys out. He's had 7-1. So why would Bobby Cox make this move now?
Well, this gives John Rocker a chance to come in and get some of that nervousness out of his body. It's his first postseason. You know, Bobby is doing a good job because he's getting these young guys into the game and let them see what it feels like, because they may have to come in a clutch situation and do the job.
Lance Johnson to second. Lockhart. Well, John Rocker's got that baptism under fire, so to speak. 7-1 Atlanta. We move to the last half of the 8th inning. Andrew Jones coming up. Okay. Here are the Liberty Mutual key plays of the game. Michael Tucker, second inning, 2-run shot, and then the big blow. I mean, that was just sheer raw power. I mean, he looked like a guy who was trying to hit one as far as he could, didn't he?
He definitely did. That's the time he goes up there, 2 outs, 3-0 ball game. You've got 3 guys on base via the walk, and he knows he's going to get a fastball outside corner, and he yanked it.
Andrew Jones up against the new Cubs pitcher. This is Mike Morgan, veteran right-hander. Made his major league debut about a week out of high school with the Oakland Athletics of Charles O'Finley. 2 strikes to count to Andrew Jones, and down he goes. Very quickly dispatched here by Mike Morgan. Morgan, the 4th pitcher of the day.
Wasn't he the guy that what's these orange baseballs? Did he invent those orange baseballs?
The alert orange baseballs Charlie is trying to introduce into the game. Michael Tucker, the hitter now. 2-run homer in the second. Fly out and grounded out since then. We're talking about Rod Beck, who got the final out in the playoff game Monday. Retiring my partner Joe Carter to end it.
Okay. Thank you there, John. I appreciate it. You know, I mean, no, you had to remind me again, huh?
Jerry Lightberg up in the Atlanta bullpen. Well, I had started to mention something that Rod said after the game about that. Slow tap to second. And Morandini throws out Michael Tucker. He said that he heard Dusty Baker's voice in his head when you came up. Something that Dusty, who often will go to the back of the charter plane and talk baseball with the players. Right. He remembered Dusty said to him once, because Rod had never faced you. Dusty had said to him once, you know, guys with long arms do not like the ball in on them. They just don't like to be jammed. He said that was echoing in his head. So in effect, Dusty Baker helped get you out to defeat Dusty's ball club.
Well, see, now that's a conflict of interest there.
Well, I'm sure Dusty never would have told him that if he'd known that that moment ever was going to happen.
It would come down to that. But I'll have to call Dusty and tell him thanks for helping me in that situation.
Sorry.
That's quite all right, John.
I mean, you were defeated not just by Beck, but by history.
But see, no, I have long arms, but I like the ball in. I mean, because I don't have to reach as far to get the ball.
Well, then he
Well, I was looking for another pitch. I was looking for maybe a slider. You know, never believe the scouting reports because they said slider. He's got a slider, split finger, especially with 2 strikes. And I thought about that in the back of my head. He threw a fastball. It was a good pitch. He did his job, and I didn't.
Hey, you don't have to explain to me. It's over.
I knew it.
It's all over now.
I was retired. I mean,
Since
one
you
day later,
popped
I'm
up.
working again.
Greg Colburn, by the way, is the pinch hitter here, batting for Rocker. So Lightberg heating up in the Atlanta bullpen. Another chance for Bobby Cox to get a rookie with his first postseason experience. That's been one of the questions about the Braves in this particular postseason. They got the great starters, the great lineup. But there are those who still wonder if this bullpen is going to be up to the task if called upon in a tight ball game. And of course, Kerry Lightenberg, the rookie closer, is part of that question. Gary Gaetti throws out Colton. We saw Sammy Sosa there a moment ago. It'll be Morandini and then Sosa and Mark Grace. Lightenberg is coming in, but the Cubs are down by 6. Stay with us. And there is Kerry Lightenberg, the rookie, 27 years of age, from Rapid City, South Dakota. Became the Braves closer. Made 30 saves for them. Got into 75 games. And just did a great job. Kerry Lightenberg, no save situation here. He's got a 6-run lead with which to work. This is sort of a welcome to the show, the big show on the big stage.
Put him out there in a game with a 7-1 lead. See what he can do and just let him calm his nerves down.
Gerald Williams now in right field. So this is a great opportunity for Bobby Cox to do that with a Rocker. And now with Lightenberg, Daniel Bautista, who's in left field, got a big lead. A relaxed situation.
Exactly. It's great management on his part.
Mickey Morandini, 0 for 3. Will be followed by Sammy Sosa. And that's in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lightenberg, who came out of one of those independent leagues. Earlier today, game 2 in Cleveland, a must-win for the Indians. They defeated Boston 9-5. So they'll move to Fenway Park. Game 3 on Friday afternoon. And of course, here tomorrow, assuming the score holds up, Atlanta has not blown too many 7-1 leads in the 9th inning. It will be a must-win for the Cubs in this 5-game series, although they are going home after tomorrow to Wrigley Field. So the Braves might feel it's a must-win for them as well tomorrow.
Well, definitely. I mean, the Cubs want to come here with one thing in mind, and that's to gain a split. They know they're facing the best team in the National League and the best pitching staff. So if they can come away with 1 win, they would be happy with that.
Kevin Tapani will go. And Morandini gets a walk here against Lightenberg. Now this, I wonder, Joe, if this could backfire. What if he gives up 3 runs here?
Well, that is something that you have to look into because if he comes in and doesn't have too much success, gives up 2 or 3 runs, that's going to be in the back of his mind because now he didn't do the job that he was supposed to do. It's more of a relaxed situation. It may turn against him, but we'll have to wait and see. But he's got Mr. Sosa coming up right now.
Sammy Sosa. And Sammy's had an excellent game. A single in the first, a double in the 7th. When he doubled in the 7th, the score was only 3-0. He led off and got them started. Sammy 2 for 3 facing Lightenberg now. Brian Plesko, the big blow, though, a grand slam for Atlanta. Plesko, you might recall, in the first game of the division series last year against the Astros, hit a clutch home run against Darryl Kyle. In the bottom of the 2nd of game 1, the Braves won that game 2-1 back of Greg Maddux. John Smoltz won the clincher in that series at the Astrodome with a 4-1 victory in game 3, complete game victory. So, I mean, you face the Braves in a short series. I mean, you know you're up against it. A lot of things have to go well for you. The Cubs got 6 pretty good innings from Mark Clark today. Gave up 3 runs, only 1 earned run. Off the outside with his 2 balls and a strike to slamming Sammy. And I know you've been impressed with the way he's thrown the bat today. Very disciplined at the plate.
I have been very impressed. And this whole year I've been impressed with Sammy because he's cut his strikeouts down, but he has upped his walk total. And what you see him, he's taking a lot of pitches. He's seeing a lot of pitches, and that will come back to help him because when you take a pitch, you have a chance to see the ball the whole way, and you follow it, and it looks a lot bigger than what it is. Series because you don't want to face that depth over the course of a 162-game schedule. In a 5-game series, anything can happen. If you run up against a hot pitcher, the Cubs could have a hot pitcher and win 1 or 2 games, and therefore it shortens the series and gives the Cubs a legitimate chance to win.
2-2 to Sosa. Remember, Sammy hit a lot of home runs this year to right center and right field for the first time in his career. And these last 2 pitches away, he's not been pulling out, trying to jerk it. And he has, it's another aspect of his game that has changed. Look at that. 19 of his home runs to right field.
Wow.
Either right or right center.
That is very good. And the reason why he does that is because he keeps the bad head of the bat in the hitting zone a lot longer when he hits the ball the other way.
Struck him out. He changed up on the outside.
Good change. Good off-speed pitch right there by Lightberg.
Sports Center after the ball game. Stay tuned for that. And then tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, it's the Rangers and the Yankees 20-game winner. Rick Helling against Andy Pettit on NBC. And right after the game, be sure and switch over to Sports Center at 11 Eastern. They'll give you all of the post-game notes and stories and many reports from Yankee Stadium. That's on Sports Center. And then baseball tonight after that at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, with the complete report on everything that happened today in the playoffs. And I have a feeling that Ryan Kleska, they might even use one of his highlights today. I mean, I love that highlight. He looked like a guy in a beer league trying to hit one as hard as he could. It was fantastic.
Ryan is very emotional, and he loves to show that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is the time when you love to show off, and he loves the limelight, especially in the World Series. The year against Cleveland, I mean, he hit all those home runs. He loves the postseason play, and he's done a tremendous job here at Grand Salami. You got to love it.
Mark Grace, the hitter, in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strike. Yeah, in 95 against Cleveland. In the 3 games in Cleveland, he homered in all 3 of them against the Cleveland staff, including one against Jose Mesa, the year that Mesa had his great year. I mean, nobody homered against Mesa that year, and then Klesko did it to him.
Yes, I mean, he was tremendous in that playoff, and it seems to be, forget about what happened in the season. It's a new season, a postseason. Let's go out and have some fun, and he's taking advantage of the Grand Slam first game.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That'll get you a lot of RBIs quickly.
Morandini led off the inning with a walk. The only walk received by the Cubs today. And down on strikes is Mark Grace, a tough low slider. I mean, he throws some great pitches here. Sosa, then Grace.
He definitely is. And one thing he's doing, he's keeping the ball down. He's got a good enough fastball where they have to respect the fastball. And he comes with the off-speed pitch. The bottom falls out of it. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. When you establish your fastball and they know that you can throw it by them, they have to think about swinging early.
Here's Henry Rodriguez, 0 for 3. Running is Morandini. They don't pay any attention to him. He goes into second base. There he is. And I'm sure they won't give him a steal on that. Defensive indifference. Henry Rodriguez. Last chance for the Cubs. 2 down, 9th inning. Off the outside. 2-0 from Lightberg. We've seen Kevin Tapani sitting in the Cubs dugout a couple of times here. He goes tomorrow. And all of this can seem irrelevant if Tapani can beat the Braves and Tom Glavine here tomorrow.
Well, then
they would go home even to the friendly confines, which the Braves may not find so friendly.
No, I didn't find it too friendly. I mean, when Gotti hit his home run, I mean, I was afraid I might get pelted with a few things. And the bleacher bums out there, they definitely let everybody know that they were definitely excited about that.
Well, there's Tapani. He goes tomorrow night here in Game 2 against, I think, a leading candidate for Cy Young honors this year in the National League, Tom Glavine. And it's a walk for Henry Rodriguez. So it's kind of a mixed bag here in the 9th inning for Lightberg. He's made great pitches to Sosa and Grace. On the other hand, he's walked 2.
Well, he can get those, like I say, you can calm his nerves down. And if he doesn't give any runs, then, the 2 walks really didn't hurt him. But he's in a situation now where, Gaetti's up. He needs to throw strikes. So work on getting strike 1 instead of working behind, but try to work ahead of the hitter.
So Rodriguez at first. You saw Morandini at second. Here is Gaetti. Off the outside. So they have
little bit. Seems a little bit frustrated right now because he has walked 2 guys. Now he wants to try to get the game over with, throwing the ball, trying to really aim it and not really throwing it where like he should.
Greg Maddux will go in game 3 for Atlanta, perhaps against Kerry Wood. Spider taken a little bit lower. 2-1. Kerry Wood, according to Jim Riggleman, could go in game 3, not committing to it. He says he might go in game 3, maybe 5 innings with Mulholland coming in behind him. On the other hand, if they're down 2 games to none, and these Braves sluggers have been teeing off on the right-handed pitchers, he says he might want to start Mulholland instead on Saturday.
Well, the thing with Mulholland, he's got a great cut fastball where he keeps it in on the right-handed hitters. And he can be very effective. He has been very effective down the stretch for the Cubs. I applaud the Cubs for what they've done with Trey Wood. I mean, they were in a pennant race the last really 2 months of the season. He was down the last month. I mean, he's a great pitcher. I mean, hitters hate to face a guy like that.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 the count. Hard coming on. Bautista with the dive and the catch. The Braves have won it. The Braves go up 1 game to none in this division series playoff against the Cubs.
Danny Bautista makes a great play to end the game. The youngster gets in the game, makes a contribution, sliding, diving. It's been a great day for the Atlanta Braves. They got exactly what they wanted, a well-pitched ball game and a couple of home runs.